What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are comparing one of the latest mid-range devices from Samsung, the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G, and comparing it to one of the latest mid-range devices from Xiaomi, the Xiaomi 13 Lite. So both devices are priced quite similarly, so you can get either device for about $500. So which one is better, the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G or the Xiaomi 13 Lite? Well, we're definitely gonna find out in today's video. Before we go any further, let's check out the boxes and see what comes in the box with each device. Well, the box for the Galaxy A54 is quite small, and inside the box you're not gonna find much. You basically find some booklets and a USB-C to a USB-C cable, and that's about it. So no charger in the box with the A54. In the box of the Xiaomi 13 Lite, you're gonna find a clear case for the device. We also have some booklets in there. We have a 67-watt fast charger. So yes, this one comes with a charger in the box, and of course the cable. So automatically you're gonna get more value from the Xiaomi 13 Lite compared to the Samsung Galaxy A54. Well, since we are talking about chargers, so the Samsung Galaxy A54 supports 25-watt fast charging, if we can even call that fast charging. However, you're gonna have to buy your own charger, where the Xiaomi 13 Lite supports 67-watt fast charging. Inside the A54, we also have a 5000 mAh battery versus a 4500 mAh battery in the Xiaomi 13 Lite. Now, charging the Xiaomi 13 Lite from 0 to 100 with the charger that comes in the box is done in about 45 minutes, where for the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G, you're gonna have to wait for about an hour and a half if you do buy yourself a 25-watt fast charger. Alright, so taking a look at both devices and of course starting with the screen. So with the Samsung Galaxy A54 we get a 6.4 inches AMOLED screen that has a 1080p resolution and a refresh rate of 120Hz. Where with the Xiaomi 13 Lite we get a 6.55 inches AMOLED screen that has a 1080p resolution and once again a refresh rate of 120Hz. Now the aspect ratio is a bit different, as you can see for yourself, and personally I do prefer the aspect ratio that we get on the Samsung Galaxy A54. Now, the A54 does seem to have somewhat larger bezels compared to the 13 Lite, but we also get a flat screen on the A54. So personally, I do prefer a flat screen over a screen that has curved edges. Even though the curved edges may give the phone a more premium look and feel, but I guess it really depends who you ask, because some people may not necessarily like the curved edges anymore. As for the screen brightness, both devices have a peak brightness of 1000 nits, and I did take both devices outdoors and I can kind of see the screen on the Xiaomi 13 Lite slightly better outdoors in direct sunlight. But the brightness should be fairly similar on both of them, and you can clearly see both of them even outside in direct sunlight. Both devices also support the always-on display feature, so if you like your screen being on at all times, both devices can do it, and they both have in-screen fingerprint scanners. So let's try that again. So we'll see which one unlocks the screen faster. So it looks like the Xiaomi 13 Lite does unlock the screen slightly faster. So let's do that one more time. So yeah, definitely the 13 Lite has the somewhat faster unlocking fingerprint scanner basically. The frames on both devices are made out of plastic, even though I do find that the frame on the Xiaomi 13 Lite looks and feels a bit more premium. The Samsung Galaxy A54 does feel a bit cheap, mostly when you touch that frame. The A54 here also weighs 202 grams, where the Xiaomi 13 Lite weighs 171 grams. Now, another thing I've noticed is the fact that to the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G, you can install an SD card, something that you cannot do with the Xiaomi 13 Lite. Another thing I've noticed is the fact that the Samsung Galaxy A54 has dual speakers. So you have one speaker at the top, one at the bottom, where with the Xiaomi 13 Lite we only have one speaker at the bottom here. And I guess next I'm gonna play a short recording just so you can hear how the speakers on these devices sound like. But I'm gonna tell you from now that the A54 does have the better speakers.
Gonna get up.
the back of the two devices we do have glass, and talking about glass, I actually forgot to mention that the screens are covered by Gorilla Glass 5 for both devices, and the backs are also covered by glass. Now I can't really say which one is the better looking one. Maybe the Samsung Galaxy A54 does look a bit more modern, where the design that we have on the Xiaomi 13 Lite is getting a bit old. So I think I prefer the way the A54 looks. Now looking at cameras, so we have the main cameras there. The biggest difference for the main camera is the fact that the Samsung Galaxy A54 does have optical image stabilization for the main camera, where the Xiaomi 13 Lite doesn't. Now, funny enough, the Samsung Galaxy A54 can record in 4K at 30 frames per second. The Xiaomi 13 Lite can also do that. But with the A54 we don't get video stabilization, so for 4K recordings, where with the Xiaomi 13 Lite we actually get video stabilization. Aside from that main camera, we have an ultra-wide camera and a macro camera on both devices. So next I'm gonna play a few recordings that I've done earlier today, just so you can see how the video quality from both devices looks like. So let's play those recordings and I'll be right back. Alright, super quick video sample with the front-facing cameras on the A54 and of course the Xiaomi 13 Lite. I'm currently doing 1080p at 30 frames per second with both devices, and of course at this resolution both devices have video stabilization. Now the A54 can also do 4K at 30 frames per second with that front-facing camera, but at that resolution there is no video stabilization. So 1080p at 30 frames per second with both devices. Okay, and we are moving on to a quick video recording done with the main cameras on the back of the two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. So yes, both devices can do 4K at 30 frames per second, but the A54 doesn't have video stabilization at this resolution. So if you're walking, if you're running, your footage is gonna look quite shaky. At least with the Xiaomi 13 Lite we do get video stabilization if you're recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. So I'm gonna go this way, just gonna pan up slowly and back this way. So main cameras 4K at 30 frames per second. Moving on to our next video sample. So now I switched the resolution to 1080p at 30 frames per second, and of course at this resolution the Samsung Galaxy A54 has video stabilization as well. It has gotten a bit windy now, so you may hear some wind aside from my voice, but I basically wanted to show you how that video stabilization works if you're recording in 1080p at 30 frames per second with both devices. So Xiaomi 13 Lite and of course the Samsung Galaxy A54. So if I would have to choose one device for the video capabilities, I feel that I would choose the Xiaomi 13 Lite because the 4K recordings do look much better since we have video stabilization. So what a missed opportunity by Samsung to not include video stabilization for those 4K recordings. Alright, so next we are seeing some pictures that I took with both devices. All the pictures are basically taken on auto mode and maybe about a second apart from each other. Now I can't really say that one is so much better than the other one. In some situations the Samsung Galaxy A54 does better, in some situations the Xiaomi 13 Lite does better. So for daytime pictures, I feel that either device will do great. So it doesn't matter which one you choose because they're both gonna do quite well. But if we take into consideration the video recordings, then I'm gonna have to choose the Xiaomi 13 Lite over the Samsung Galaxy A54 because video recordings are a more important part for me. Well, for me anyways, because it may not be for everyone. But because video capabilities are more important for me, yes, I would definitely choose the 13 Lite over the Samsung Galaxy A54. But what do you guys say about those pictures and video quality? Definitely leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. Moving on to performance, so the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G, we get the Exynos 1380 chipset and 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage. With the Xiaomi 13 Lite, we have the Snapdragon 7 Gen 1 and 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage. And personally, I'm not a fan of that Exynos chipset, and I know that a lot of you aren't a fan of it either. So I would have preferred to see a Snapdragon CPU in the A54, but it is what it is. Now, the Xiaomi 13 Lite here runs MIUI 14 that's based on Android 12, where with the Samsung Galaxy A54 we do get Android 13, so a bit of a difference there. I also have the Antutu benchmark here. Let me open it on this one. Funny enough, if you look at what it says on this device, it says Mi 12 Lite, but this is clearly the Xiaomi 13 Lite. But yeah, that's what it says there. And this is the score that we get on the Antutu benchmark. So fairly similar scores, I'm gonna say. And as you can see here, the devices don't really get hot when running those benchmark tests. And if we go back here and we open the storage test, we can see the speeds for the internal storage. So here you can see that the Xiaomi 13 Lite does have the faster storage. So performance-wise, I feel that for most situations, the Xiaomi 13 Lite does better than the Samsung Galaxy A54. The phone feels a bit more responsive for most things. Gaming performance is somewhat similar, but overall the smoothness of the UI is better on the Xiaomi 13 Lite, at least in my opinion. And if you wanted to see the scores that we get on the Geekbench 6, there you have it. So the multi-core score and the single-core scores are a bit higher on the Samsung Galaxy A54 compared to the Xiaomi 13 Lite. I'm not sure if that has to do with the fact that on the A54 we basically have Android 13, where on the Xiaomi 13 Lite we have Android 12. So there you have it, the Xiaomi 13 Lite and the Samsung Galaxy A54. Which one do you guys prefer, the A54 or the 13 Lite? In many ways, the 13 Lite does offer more value. First of all, we have a charger that comes in the box, because you're gonna have to spend like 40-50 bucks to get a charger for the A54 if you don't have one. We also have faster charging, but at the same time with the A54 we do get somewhat better battery life. We have a 5000 mAh battery in here. We also have a flat screen, and I kind of prefer flat screens over a screen that has curved edges. So hard to say which one is the better one. I think it comes down to your personal preference and what's the most important thing for you. I would choose the 13 Lite mostly because of the video stabilization for 4K recordings, but for everything else I could go for the A54. Alright guys, hopefully this video was useful. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.